Victoria Beckham sat in the grand living room of her London mansion, her hands trembling as she scrolled through the latest headlines on her phone. David Beckham caught in new cheating scandal, the bold letters screamed at her from the screen. Her heart pounded, her vision blurred, and for a moment, the world around her seemed to collapse. This wasn't the first time she had faced such accusations. Their marriage had weathered its fair share of storms, but every time another rumor surfaced, it chipped away at the carefully curated life they had built together. She had learned to smile through the pain, to walk out in designer heels with her head held high, and to pretend that their love was untouchable. But inside, she was breaking. Tears welled in her eyes as she thought about their 4 children, Brooklyn, Romeo, Cruz, and Harper. How many times had they seen their parents' names dragged through the mud? How many times had she reassured them that everything was fine, even when she wasn't sure it was? The thought of her daughter Harper growing up and reading these stories made her stomach turn. Victoria placed her phone down, staring at the flickering fireplace, memories flooding her mind. She remembered the early days, when she and David had been the golden couple, the fairy tale romance that the world adored. They had been young, madly in love, and nothing else had mattered. But fame came with its own set of challenges, and their love had been tested more times than she cared to admit. She reached for a glass of water, her hands still shaking. Was this latest scandal true? She wanted to believe David, to trust in the man she had spent over 2 decades with. But the whispers were relentless, and the photographs flooding the internet made it harder to silence the doubts creeping into her mind. Her phone vibrated again. A message from David. "David, please talk to me. Don't believe everything you see." She hesitated. She wanted to ignore him, to let him feel the weight of what was happening. But she needed answers. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard before she finally replied. "Victoria, is it true?" The 3 dots appeared, then disappeared. Then nothing. Her heart sank. If it weren't true, wouldn't he have denied it immediately? She closed her eyes, her mind flashing back to past scandals. She had forgiven him before, choosing to believe in their love, in the family they had built. But could she do it again? Could she once more stand before the world and pretend that everything was fine? She stood up and walked to the window, staring out at the London skyline. The world outside was oblivious to her pain. To them, she was still the unbreakable posh spice, the fashion icon, the devoted wife and mother. But inside, she was just a woman trying to hold her heart together. A knock at the door startled her. She turned to see Brooklyn standing there, concern written all over his face. "Mum," he said softly. "Are you okay?" Victoria forced a smile. "Of course, darling." But the tears that slipped down her cheeks betrayed her. As the hours passed, she found herself trapped in a cycle of emotions. Anger, hurt, love, betrayal. She needed clarity. She needed the truth. Grabbing her coat, she decided she needed to confront David face to face. It was time to stop running from the pain and finally demand the answers she deserved. The story of Victoria Beckham's tears was far from over.